Hello, my friends. Welcome. For a little while, and part of the reason for that is I've had family in town from America, and so I have not just had the time to do this. I haven't seen my mom since September, and so I've been spending all my time doing that, and it's been really nice. And now I'm back. I'm back to catch up on doing these videos. I am back to catch up on doing tarot for the month ahead. I am really, really excited to get into these cards and just see what February has got in store for us. I am super stoked. And I know February is quarter of the way done. It's the 9th already. So better late than never, you guys. We're here. We're doing it. And February is also when the lunar year shifts. So we are moving from the year of the snake into the year of the fire horse, which personally I'm so excited for. I feel like the fire horse is going to be vibes. And hello, Howard, in the chat. Thank you for being here live. It's always nice when folks catch my completely unplanned live streams and unscheduled live streams. So thank you so much for everyone who is just popping in to say what's up. So anyways, I was saying I'm super excited for the Lunar New Year to happen this month. I think on the 17th of February. I feel like the energy is going to be shifting very much from a yin kind of shedding energy into a yang energy. We already kind of see that with the numerology of the shift of the year from a 9-year in 2025 to a 1 year in 2026. So if anyone listening to this had a kind of a rough year in 2025, there's a lot of sheddings, a lot of endings, a lot of reassessment of things, and a lot of things that were reassessed potentially did not survive that reassessment. So if that's the case, you're right on schedule, you're right on time, and you are in alignment with the energies that were happening. And now that we've kind of shed a lot of that, and hopefully whatever additional shedding needs to happen right now in the last moments of the year of the snake, we can shed that and then begin to move into this horse energy, which is going to propel us forward. And in a space of momentum, right? And I think it's interesting because in the tarot, horses are so much about movement and momentum, right? It's about getting from point A to point B. It's about transitions. It's about motivation. It's just about that kind of raw energy as we are moving from one place, one state of being to another. And so I really, really love that energy. And of course, as Sagittarius, I'm half horse. So in Sagittarius fire sign. So fire horse, I'm like, bring it on, let's go. I'm super excited. So if anyone is watching this live, feel free to let me know where you are viewing from in the chat. I'm not going to stalk you. It's all good. Just always so curious where everyone is listening in from. And so I'm giving these a little bit of a shuffle because I've done a bunch of readings lately, so it seems that these do need a little bit of a shuffle. Oh, hello, Bella. New Orleans. Awesome. I love that. Oop. Let's just see what the energy is for February. So what I'm going to do something a little bit different because, from Norway. Oh my God. Capricorn, Howard. That's so fun. Norway. I would actually love to go to Norway. That'd be so cool. I've never been to those kind of up north countries. Scandinavia or like the Baltic regions. That would be really fun. I would love to check that out. What time is it in Norway, actually? Now I'm kind of curious what the time difference is. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I usually do these on the 1st of the month. But seeing as we're like a quarter of the way through, what I'm going to do is first pull some cards for like the part of this month that we've already experienced, right? It's like the last 9 days. 6 p.m. here in the evening for Howard in Norway. That's so cool. Where in Norway are you? I would actually really love to go over there. It just seems like a very interesting place. I wonder how long the flight would be from Toronto. That's so fun. So let's see what February had in store for us already, seeing as we are like a few days in February. And then let's go into what the rest of February holds. And I also do want to pull some cards specifically on this transition around the Lunar New Year, just because I think that's such an important energy to tap into. So let's see. So what has February had in store for us so far? What do we need to know about the past energy for this month? What happened? Okay. Ooh, interesting cards already. Okay, interesting. All right, so we got some interesting cards so far for like what the fuck has gone on so far this month. And also, if anyone in the chat does, feel free to like share whatever has been going on for you the past 9 days. I'm always really curious how these cards play out in people's lives individually, because it always is going to hit people a little bit different. So one of the things I'm noticing is we do have kind of a balance here of reversed cards and upright cards. And so what that indicates, just like right off the bat, is it's very unlikely that for all of us, February has been like smooth sailing, easy breezy, like no drama, nothing crazy. Like I wouldn't be surprised if February so far, due to the cards that I'm seeing, have been like kind of some ups and downs, some positive, some negative, neither really taking precedent over the other, but just a lot of growth and endings and all of this. So part of the reason I'm saying this is one of the cards we've got for February last week is the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is a super interesting card. As you can see here, it's not super fun, a little bit unpleasant. So this card really is all about endings. Endings, endings, endings. And so this is an interesting one because I do know a few people who had breakups or endings of that nature over the past week. And so for those of you for whom this resonates, I would say just take that on stride. Like that is something that needed to happen for you. It's not going to happen to you. It's going to happen for you. And endings, while they can be challenging and unpleasant, if we look at them in the right way, oftentimes we realize that those endings are in our best interest. And Howard is saying 10-hour flight to Norway. Wow, Norway is very beautiful. I live in the far south region. That's so cool. And Bella is saying definitely been a lot of ups and downs. Yeah. And it seems like Howard is agreeing with that about the ups and downs. Yeah. And so whatever endings happened in the last week, I would say trust that. Specifically endings around communication, endings that happened because there was bad communication. I would say just leave sleeping dogs lie. Let those things stay dead. If they need to be resurrected later on, they will. Part of the reason I'm saying that is because we've got this death card reversed. Very interesting. So it's our first major arcana of this pull. Major arcana are always cards I like to pay a little bit more attention to. As you guys will know, if you've been here for a little while, majors do tend to pack a little bit more of a punch. Their energy tends to create ripples in multiple areas of life. And so the question with this card is, are there any endings or goodbyes or changes in yourself you have been avoiding or putting off or resisting? So to get these cards together, and with this Ten of Swords upright, it's like, okay, so we've accepted that situation, whatever is dead, it's over, etc. But have we really allowed that to create this catalyst for an important death and rebirth cycle within ourselves? Right? So hopefully you guys understand what I mean by this. So like we've had an ending. There's been something that is ended, right? Are we making the necessary space for that death to alchemize us into a transformed being? Death is often not literally about death, right? It's often so much more about shifts, transformations, right? Becoming the goop of, the moth turning into the chrysalis or whatever the fuck, and then coming out as a butterfly. This card being resisted is like we are a caterpillar not really wanting to go and become the goop in the chrysalis. But we got to do it. We got to do it. Because then we emerge changed. I feel called to say we become purified in a sense. Like there is a clarification, a transformation, a seeing of the light, a spreading of the wings that can happen when we really embrace this energy. The reversal indicates that many of us are likely resisting this energy a little bit, and that's something I just want to call us all out on over the past week, since these cards are around what's gone on so far in February. Can we accept these endings? Can we accept that Ten of Swords energy and flip this Death card into a Rebirth card? And I think that's going to be especially important as we move towards the Lunar New Year. Can we upturn this Death card so that it really is about embracing our own transformation and up-leveling and rebirth, so that we're ready to be reborn on the Lunar New Year, February 17th or whenever it is. It's a time of transformation if we let it be. Many people will resist this, right? It's a lot easier to stay the same than it is to change. Howard says, I've been stagnated again, not going to lie, I do the work, but the hardest part is the moving on, or indeed how to move on or what form that takes. Totally. And so it's interesting that you say that, because a lot of these other cards kind of speak to that a little bit, including, oh my God, let's see if I can pull this. 5 of Cups reversed and the 2 of Wands upright. So I feel like these are speaking to what you're talking about a bit, Howard, and I think these are really interesting in conversation with these two for the past week, right? So with this card, it's like, what do we need to mourn that we have not fully mourned? What do we need to cry about? What do we need to journal about? What do we need to go and like go into a rage room and like break stuff to just like shake it out of our system? In what ways are we avoiding emotional processing? Maybe we had a breakup a few months ago that we haven't fully processed yet. This card upright is very much a card of grief and mourning. The reversal just indicates perhaps not making as much space for this as we perhaps could. We need to feel it, to heal it, to move on, to make room for transformation, to make room for seeing where can we go next and who do we want to partner with to help us go there. Very interesting to think about, especially since Valentine's Day is around the corner. 2 of Wands, the 2s are often again about partnership in some sense. And here it's like, okay, so we are in this castle right now. Where do we want to go next? The world is in our hand right now. We've got so much potential that we can access in ourselves and in the world in terms of the people we know, the resources available to us. And so this is going to be a really important time. And I think this past week, a lot of us perhaps have really done some thinking and reflection on, you know, where do we want to end up? If we could end up anywhere, where would we go? Who would we be doing that with? What would be our plan in order to get there? What is the map we're going to be following and creating in order to get where we need to go? There's a really silly example, but for some reason I feel called to talk about like pre-phone, like everyone having Wi-Fi on the phone. Like if anyone's done like a road trip back in the day and like you had to print out the instructions of, you know, turn left here, turn right there, take this highway, turn on this road, like we would have a better idea of kind of where we are and where we're going back when we had to do that, when we had to take the time. Now everyone's just like follows their phone mindlessly. And I'm not complaining about that. It's super handy, super convenient. But there is something beautiful and healing and I think helpful and decisive and expansive about taking the time to draw out our own roadmap, whether that's literally in terms of navigating where we live, but also on a bigger scale, navigating where it is we want to go in our life. Incredibly important. And I'm just noticing in the chat is popping off. Let's see. Howard says, I've been stagnated again, not going to lie, do the work. Hardest part is moving on, or indeed how to move on, or what form that takes. Bella says, sometimes it feels like the grieving won't stop. I can't stop crying and having anxiety attacks. You just pulled, oh my God, you just pulled the 2 of Wands the other day. And Howard says, everything is very heightened emotionally almost. Yeah. And my heart is going out to you, Bella, right now around that. And so these cards actually, it sounds like really do reflect some of what you've been going through. And I think this is kind of the collective energy over the last week, interestingly. Like, I did have some ups and downs myself this past week, not as bad as it sounds like what y'all have been going through. But it's interesting that this energy does hit us in different ways, right? Whether it's like a big smack on the head or it's like a little tap that kind of throws us off balance for a second. Like, the energy is going to express itself kind of in the same way, but in different calibers to each of us. This is what I think is really interesting sometimes about doing these collective readings. And next up, for the energy of the past week, Seven of Swords. This card comes up when people are not 100% honest with us. And so I think we might have been discovering some dishonesty or unpleasant communication the past week. I think that could have come up perhaps for some of us, especially with all these other cards that we've got going on. And so as we're moving forward for the rest of the month, something to think about is, are you being honest with yourself? And do you require that others be honest with you in the relationships that you have, that you cherish, that you're cultivating? Bella, I know a little bit, obviously, about some of your situation and likely some of what you're upset about. And with this, it's like a dishonesty, that is a red flag when that happens. Miscommunication, I think we can work through that. But when people are being really unkind and uncharitable and kind of violent with their communication, that is when we really need to take a look at it and say, okay, is this relationship in our best interest? Is this connection in our best interest? The answer, I would say, is generally going to be no. Seven of Swords energy, I think most of us who see this are going to know who this is in our life. It's going to express itself in varying levels of negativeness. Like, I've seen this come up in very minimal ways, like people just gossiping at work. I've also seen this come up in more serious ways where someone's partner is cheating or something like that. And so just something to think about. Who is this that you've encountered in the last week? Someone who perhaps could be hiding the truth from you or not being 100% straight up. And our last two cards for this past week, pretty interesting. King of Pentacles reversed. I do love the King cards. They're not the most fun when they're reversed, though. So King of Pentacles reversed. It's interesting because it's such a lovely card when it's upright. Like, everyone wants this card when we see it upright. It's just like there's someone who's super generous, very strong, very stable, very grounded, very reliable. The reversal can indicate someone who is kind of too complacent, too comfortable, to the extent that maybe he's being a little bit entitled, this energy. And so as we're reflecting on the past week, think, is this you or is this someone you know? How did you deal with this energy over the past week? This is likely something that most of us, if not all of us, have encountered either in ourselves or elsewhere. Something to think about. And of course, I love this card, High Priestess. And so as we're reflecting on the past week, how did we use and work with our intuition? How did we connect with our inner knowing? How did we go into the deep, dark depths of our shadow and bring these pomegranate seeds up into the surface as something that can be nourishing? What did we learn from the shadows that we met and walked through and perhaps were hurt by this past week? I think this past week likely revealed our triggers for many of us. It likely revealed weird communication, which again is not always a bad thing. Miscommunication happens even in the best of circumstances. And one of the things I feel called to say here is that healing happens when we're connected. There's only so much healing work we can do alone. And so a big part of figuring out what that line is listening to the intuition of the High Priestess, following her lead, and really, again, paying attention to that inner knowing, that gut feeling that it's going to hit you somewhere. We all have it, but we listen to it to greater and lesser degrees. And it's so interesting this card is coming up because when I read at the birthday party last Saturday, not a few days ago, Saturday, the Saturday before, pretty much everyone I read for, and I read for 10 people at this birthday party, I pulled the High Priestess for almost every single one of them, which is crazy. So a very intuitive bunch. which I really, really loved. And so I think this energy is around right now as we are all kind of being called into this frequency of trusting our intuition much more than perhaps we have in the past. Especially as we are in this tail end of the snake energy. The snake energy is very much a high priestess yin energy, I would say. And there's a feminine energy to the snake. It's very earthy. It's very underground. It's very like going into the shadows. And it's also very much shedding of skin. The high priestess, if we pay attention to her message, will tell us what skin needs to be shed. And sometimes that's in other people. But also, I think crucially, sometimes this is within ourselves. And on our healing journey, a lot of us are going to be meeting our shadows. We're going to be meeting our triggers. The people that we encounter, be they good or bad, kind or malicious, are going to trigger us and are going to reveal where our wounding still is. Where can we still heal? What can we still learn? What is mine and what is yours? Because I think there is a trend within wellness spaces to blame everything on other people. And I think sometimes that blame is well-deserved. You know, I think sometimes people blame themselves for too much. At the same time, we got to make sure that we've got a good assessment on what is actually our fault, I want to say. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's more just like, can we be aware of what is ours to heal? Can we right-size that? Can we not over-exaggerate it? And can we also not avoid responsibility? Like, what is that mid-ground where we're fully taking responsibility for healing our own shadows? I think that is part of the beautiful message that we can see within this High Priestess card. The balance of that, you know, the darkness and the light. Incredibly powerful card if we do choose to embrace the lessons of this. And this is a darker side of feminine energy, very contrasting to the Empress, which I also love. But the High Priestess is like, where's your shadow? Can we heal that? There's something really beautiful and important about that. All right, so let's move on to the rest of the month. And I'm going to have some water because I've just been talking nonstop for a little while. All right. So for the rest of February, let's see what the vibes are. And hello to everyone just joining. Do let us know in the chat where you're viewing from if you're just logging on. Let's see. What else we got for February? What else we need to know this month? Okay, what else we need to know? What are the lessons? How can we make the best of this energy? Okay, these are good. I'm liking this a lot. These are nice, y'all. Some nice vibes here. All right. Almost everything is upright. So I would say the worst is over for February, right? Like, I think the kind of weird vibes, whatever weird vibes happened, we're largely in that first 8 days, let's say, first 8-9 days. Now moving forward, we've got some interesting, cool energy. We've got some really nice majors. We've got almost everything upright. We like it. So I fucking love that we got this card, the Lovers, as we are leaning into big Valentine's Day energy. Hello. I'm really excited for Valentine's Day. Even when I'm single, I love Valentine's Day. I'm currently not single, so sorry, everybody. But I love Valentine's Day. And so this is a really, really beautiful card to get as we are easing into Valentine's Day energy, the Lovers. This card historically has also been called the Choice, and I'm actually going to do something really fun and try to find the Lovers card in this deck, which is a really fun deck from Spain from the 70s. And the Lovers card in this deck really encapsulates some of the meaning in this really interesting, beautiful, evocative, and like slightly provocative way. Because the Lovers card is not just about love. The Lovers card is also about Who do we want to be? What choices do we need to make to get ourselves there? So we've got this. Oh my God, isn't that spicy? The two roads. So this is another way that I've seen the lovers represented quite often. And a lot of people don't like this because it's kind of like patriarchal or whatever. But let's get into what the hell this really means and why I think this is great that we are getting the lovers card for the rest of February. So the two roads, right? And again, I'm going to be a little bit crude as I'm explaining this. So we see, of course, Cupid chilling up there with a nice little arrow. How fun. This dude is like, holy shit, what do I do? These ladies are fighting over him. We've got a lady with short hair who maybe looks a little bit more reserved. And we've got a bodacious lady with long flowing hair and like a low cut top. And she looks very sensual. And so what we see here represented in this card with these two ladies. And I just saw some people log off. So I'm sure some people are offended by this, which whatever, do your thing. But we see this contrast between what we should want and what we do want, right? I think homeboy probably wants the sexy lady more than the other lady. But I think society is probably telling him that he should want the chaste lady with her hair up and her boobs covered. And this is very crude and patriarchal and kind of fucked up, obviously. We can laugh about it. But I think it's touching on something that is very true that everyone experiences. Whether this is messages from society, your parents, your family, your culture, telling you that you should be something in particular, want something in particular, etc. And in the work that I do, I see a lot of people getting divorced. I see a lot of people with relationship problems who ended up in relationships they honestly never should have been in because, their family, the pressure of the culture they're in, the pressure of the religion that they're in, blah, blah, blah. And so I see a lot of people not being true to themselves and then ending up getting divorced because they made the wrong choice of partner. And I think who we partner with is one of the most important things we can do in this life. It's going to determine so much. No one likes to hear that, but in this line of work, I deal with a lot of relationship issues, a lot of divorces, a lot of breakups, a lot of like interpersonal love related stuff. It affects everything. And so if we're going to take a message away from that, is as we approach Valentine's Day, as we approach life in general, life as a form of art, life as a form of seizing who we are you in alignment with your true desires? Are you in alignment with your true self? Are you gravitating towards the people that you're dating or the choices that you're making because that's really what you want from your heart and soul and your whole inch of vibration? Or are you making these choices because what your family wants you to do, what your culture wants you to do, what your religion wants you to do, etc.? Are you being authentic? Authenticity often comes with a price. But when we're authentic, I think that's when our life is the most magical, the most joyful, the most fun, the most full of ease and like great things. And so what choice will you make? The two roads. This card has also been called the choice. What choice will you make on Valentine's Day in the love month? But also what choices are you making in your life in general, not just around love? Are you really going after what you want in your life? Or are you just a slave to feeling obligated? Are you choosing obligation or are you choosing authenticity? I know sometimes when like certain things are involved, we have to choose obligation, like when we have children, maybe with someone that we're not into, like that can complicate things, obviously. But in general, I want to talk right now with this card about authenticity, following your true wish, following your true desire, and daring to be authentic. So I think when we dare to be authentic, that's when we end up with a life that we don't have to escape from, a life that we don't have to lie about, a life where we don't have to lead a double life, where we're happy genuinely with who we are, who we're with, where you don't have to keep secrets. And so embrace Valentine's Day this year, my friends. Even if you're single, I would say like do something fun. If you are single, use it to manifest the next version of your life. Fall in love with yourself. If you are partnered, like, go have a nice, fun time. Love is incredibly important. It's part of what makes the world go round. And make sure that you are making choices that light you up in this regard. Super, super important. Check yourself before you wreck yourself with the lovers, you guys. Be authentic. Be your naked self. And if you are choosing who you want to end up with, like, it should be someone you feel this comfortable with, that you have this authentic connection with. I think it's super important. So anyway, enough about that. Next up, we've got Ace of Pentacles. I love this. If anyone is starting a new job, or if you're an entrepreneur, you're making a new offer or something like this, I think it's a great time for that. Ace of Pentacles is very much like new financial beginnings, new material beginnings, giving and receiving money to some extent. But I would say this is going to be a decent month likely for most of us from now onwards in terms of finances. So that's just a really, really nice kind of cherry on top. The rest of the month, we are also going to be challenged to move out of learned helplessness. And we've got other 8s that we've pulled. So I think there's a nice, interesting pattern here of multiple 8s. 8s are an infinity number. 8s are also stability. 8s are balance. The 8 of Swords reminds us that we need to not be helpless. We have more control, more agency over what we want. You know, this can relate to this card too. Are we going to be stagnant? Are we going to refuse to grow? Are we going to stay in the past? And what we really could be doing is moving forward, choosing ourselves, choosing a new version of who we want to be and who we want to be with. Are we going to shake off this kind of toilet paper that's wrapped around us, that's keeping us stuck? Are we going to follow our intuition forward? We see the figure here is following this like nice little water. What is that? The intuitive stream. Are we going to follow our intuition out of learned helplessness? Are we going to refuse to let ourselves be trapped? We can free ourselves at any time. Most people choose not to, because it's very comfortable to be here. It's comfortable short-term to be here. It's not comfortable long-term to be here. This is like a fast track to a miserable existence later in life. It's hard to follow our bliss because, again, it involves disappointing people often. It involves difficulty. It involves honesty. It involves authenticity. It involves making choices that other people may not agree with. But that is how we be free. Let's go to the other 8s before I get to the other cards here. 8 of Wands. How I'm going to read this right now in this general reading is, I don't always read this card this way, but for whatever reason, I feel called to say, don't be afraid to put your eggs in one basket. I think if this is a love situation, it's okay to go all in. If it's a new love situation, if it is a situation that feels good and authentic, you don't need to hedge your bets, I would say. And I think you're going to know intuitively if this applies to you or if it doesn't, because earlier on, we were also talking about breakups for some of you. So know which lane you're in, know which energy is referring to you. That's another really important part of being intuitive, right? Knowing which aspects of these collective readings are specifically speaking to you and your situation. Because sometimes people are going to have a wishful thinking around which of this is important for them. Be honest with yourself. I think this can also be around not just love, but also work-related things, whatever else you're kind of spending your energy on right now. It could be a home renovation. It could be work. It could be a new business. It could be an art project. It could be, health stuff. It can be diving into spirituality. Like whatever it is you feel called to be focusing on, go all in, I would say. Don't be afraid to go all in the rest of this month. Next up, we've got Strength reversed. Interesting. Another 8. Different kind of 8, though, because it's a major. One of the only cards with a little infinity symbol on the top of the head. Don't be afraid of self-control. I think self-control is what is going to get us out of this situation, for those of us who are here. This can be allowing our shadows and wounds to take control over us when we really are past that. This can be not letting the negative thoughts overtake us. It can be moving away from negative self-talk. It can be keeping our triggers under wraps. This is very much self-mastery, self-control. In order to get where we want to go, where we need to go, we do need to cultivate self-mastery. Not an easy thing to do. Easier said than done. But very, very important to be able to be in that energy. And notice that this lady is not like smacking the lion into submission. She's not hitting him with a stick. She's not squirting him with a spray bottle. She's not poking him with a knife. She's just petting him gently. And so if you do find a part of yourself that needs to be tamed, give yourself grace, give yourself softness, give yourself love and attention as a way of taming these more feral, perhaps negative, perhaps shadowy, perhaps vicious parts of yourself. That is the way love and compassion for yourself as you're navigating all of this stuff is the name of the game. Violence and negativity towards yourself is not going to help you with whatever self-control stuff you're dealing with whatever shadow processing you're dealing with. Give yourself grace in this process. Incredibly important. This is likely relevant in more than one area of life since it's a major. Next up, 7 of Pentacles. Stop and smell the roses. This month, give yourself some credit for what it is you've accomplished so far. It may not be the end of your journey. It may not be all the pentacles that you would have liked to have grown. But it's enough, and it's something to be celebrated. You might be at the beginning stage of your journey. You might be in the middle of your journey. You might have just got knocked off the wagon and are like completely starting from scratch. You know, you might be close to the finish line, wherever you're at on your journey with whatever this is in regards to. Give yourself some credit. Stop and have gratitude for yourself. Notice how the fruits are blossoming. Oh my God, my cat is snoring on the other side of the laptop. So cute. I wish you guys could hear my cat snoring. She's so funny. Anyway, stop and smell the roses. Stop and listen to the cat snoring. Stop and cultivate a good relationship to stillness, quietness, rest. Enjoy. Give yourself some credit. Really easy to say, hard to do. Many of us are not good at accepting compliments. Many of us are not good at accepting praise. Many of us push that away because we're uncomfortable with being appreciated. That's something to work on. Sit with it. Oh my God, I wish you guys could hear my cat snoring. She's so funny. She's so loud. All right, next up, Wheel of Fortune. Beautiful card. Trust in the divine timing of right now. I think this month is going to end up with a bunch of fated stuff that's going to happen. A lot of serendipity, a lot of things that are going to feel destined. Lean into it and trust your intuition on what those things are. The universe has got our back this month, and trust in the divine timing of it all. Easier said than done. And I think the challenge with this card sometimes is to know what is divine timing and what's not. This card is very much about jumping on the bus at the right time, making sure we don't miss the bus, and also making sure we don't get on the wrong bus. The wheel is always going to turn. We have to be paying enough attention to the wheel turning so that we know when our bus is arriving, where we want to sit on the bus, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Don't miss the bus. Make sure you catch the right one. Timing is an incredibly important aspect of life. the more attuned we are to the universe and the flows of energies in the universe, the flow of our own energy, the flow of other people's energy, the better we're going to be at being in the right place at the right time, meeting the right person at the right time, encountering the right opportunity at the right time. This is a skill. It's a spiritual skill of luck, of serendipity, of manifestation, of all of that beautiful stuff. So put yourself in lucky situations, lucky circumstances this month. If you're feeling lucky this month, I would say trust it, lean into it. That could likely pay dividends for many of us the rest of the month. We've also got the Queen of Wands. I love this card. Like, I really wish you guys could hear my cat. She's like so loud. It's bonkers. Queen of Wands, upright. Lean towards. Scott says maybe the cat needs a CPAP machine. Honestly, I don't know if cats can get sleep apnea. I should look this up. But like, she sounds ridiculous right now. It's like crazy. Like, so loud. She's like literally 6 feet away from me and I can hear her snoring. It's like ridiculous. She's so cute. She's also kind of old. She's like 16 or 17. So snoring cat. I don't know if it's just an old cat thing, but she's so sweet. So if anyone can advise if cats can get sleep apnea, let me know. So Queen of Wands, it's funny, as I said that, we have a little cat up on here as well. And so lean into your cat nature this month as well. Cats do what they want to do. That's the beautiful thing about them. They don't really follow orders from anyone unless they really want to. Like, I've trained my cats pretty well, so they generally do tend to follow my orders, but it's not the same thing as a dog where the dog needs direction. They'll kind of do what they're trained to do. Like, cats is kind of a mix where they'll do what they're trained to do kind of, but only if they want to and only if they trust you and if it aligns with what they want to do. So I think there's something really interesting about cats that we can learn about following our own instinct, following what we want to do in this kind of unapologetic way. And the Queen of Wands is very much about stepping into our power. And perhaps there's a feminine aspect of that power too. Can we turn towards what lights us up? Got a sunflower here. For me, sunflowers always represent spiritualism since it's a symbol of spiritualism, which is what I grew up in. But for everyone who doesn't necessarily care about that, the sunflower also crucially moves towards the sun. And so how can we be like that this month? How can we move towards what lights us up? How can we be like the sunflower and move towards what helps us grow, what helps us flourish? And how can we be honest with ourselves about what that is? How can we step into our clarity of intention, right? Notice the wand straight up and down here, right? So there's no wiffly waffliness. The wand is not flippy floppy. It's like boom, up and down. She knows what she wants, where she wants to go, who she is. And also notice that the yellow gown, it's very much, to me, associated with the solar plexus chakra, the chakra around willpower, will, individuality, individuation, expressing who we are and what we want in an unapologetic, unashamed way. Do that for the rest of this month. Keep your crown upon your head. You don't need to people please. You don't need to cower or apologize for who you are and what you want. We're moving into the year of the fire horse. Wands are fire. I think it's really important for us to kind of hit the ground running and just step into this energy, allow it to kind of pull us forward. One of the most beautiful things I think about spirituality and energy work and learning how to touch base with the energy around us is we get better at sensing these kind of cosmic waves of energy. And when we do that, we can kind of be like energy surfers and jump on, enjoy the ride, and allow it to propel us further along our path, further along our journey, and unlock the specific growth that we need right now. And if we can follow that rather than fight it, if we can ride that wave rather than fight it, we're going to be so much further along in our life path than if we just ignored it or just, decided to just do some stupid shit and not pay attention. This is, I think, speaking in some way to this Wheel of Fortune energy. Right place, right time. Luck, I think, is a spiritual skill. That's what I've been thinking about lately. I think luck is a spiritual skill. It's an energetic skill. How can we cultivate more of that this month? By being who we are, knowing who we are, and daring to tell the universe who we are and what we want in an unapologetic way. How can we do that? Honestly, I think some really beautiful cards for us for February. And I want to just pull a few more on the year of the snake ending and the year of the fire horse beginning, since that's happening very soon. I'm really excited for it. Oh my God, I love this. All right, these are fucking nice. So we got all of these upright. Fuck yeah, I dig it. So the year of the snake is ending. Beautiful. Three of Pentacles, 10 of Cups. Three of Pentacles is like, what did we learn? How are we a student? And also, how did we teach others? That's something that we really need to think about as we are moving away from this year of the snake energy. What did you learn? Right? Shedding of the skin. What parts of yourself are you leaving behind? What did you learn from that whole process of shedding your skin and being reborn? Did you learn anything? I hope so. If you didn't, you haven't been paying attention. What can you teach others about what you've learned? What can you teach yourself about what you've learned? How can you embody what you've learned in a beingness level, not just intellectually in your mind? How can you, this is going to sound so cheesy, but how can you be a positive ripple everywhere you go that helps and teaches others simply by example? You should be able to take at least one thing from the year of the snake, which ends like in a week or two. 1 week, I guess, ish, 17th, whatever. Math's not my strong suit. What are your teachables that you've learned from this process? I think many of us will also have some very beautiful things to carry forth from the year of the snake. Many of us will have met our person. We'll have had a new love connection. We will have had some positive things happen with our family, with the community that we've created. So as we're shedding things in the year of the snake, we're also creating new skin. It's an ending, but it's an ending that's also a beginning. I know exactly what this is in regards to in terms of my own self, my own situation. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's quite nice. And so with this, it's like, what gems are you bringing into the year of the horse after everything that you've learned and been through with the year of the snake? What aspects of family, community, love, friendship, spirituality, togetherness, relationship, what are you bringing with you? Really, really important to think about. As we're moving into the year of the fire horse, I love these cards. The 9 of Pentacles is actually my card of the year for 2026. So I'm like excited for that. Luxuriate. The fire horse is going to bring material comfort for a lot of us. Relax and smell the roses. Enjoy what we have. Romanticize everyday life, however much or little you have. Even if all you have to romanticize is some snacks in the cabinet and the bougie toothpaste. Romanticize it, even if it's just having an extra few pillows on your bed, even if it is just sleeping in for an extra 10 minutes. How can you embrace more luxury and beauty and comfort in your life with the year of the fire horse? Beautiful. And also, I love this. Hello. The World as a card for the next Lunar New Year of the fire horse. The universe has got our back. I think this is a really interesting one, especially since we already pulled the Wheel of Fortune. Both of these cards have the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac holding us in place in each of the corners. So I think we are at this like divine pivot. And this is going to sound so cheesy, but like I really think we are. This divine pivot from the year of the snake to the year of the horse. I think there's so much going on right now, energetically, spiritually, that if we are aligned, if we're acting in alignment, if we're riding those waves, we are going to end up in a really good place. Where if we follow our intuition, if we follow our best self, rather than giving into the negative aspects of self, our shadow self, our parts of ourself that are not fully evolved, if we're able to do that, we're going to be able to level up truly into the next dimension of self, the next version of ourself. We all are going to be dealt challenges in this life. We're going to be dealt bad experiences. We're going to have trauma. We're going to have wounds. But the choice and the question is always, what are we going to do with that? Are we going to wallow? Are we going to be miserable? Are we going to do the same bad pattern a million times? Or are we going to choose to level up and change our behavior and change our actions and change our thoughts and change ourselves so we end up somewhere better? Somewhere perhaps that we never thought we could be. And I think the energy right now with this pivot from one year to the other, it's an energy that I think will enable us to kind of embrace that catalyst and really work with that to catapult ourselves into that next level. If we choose to work with it, if we rise to the challenge, if we're honest, if we face our shadows, if we pay attention to the energy, if we work with it. I think it's an amazing opportunity for us all spiritually right now if we just decide to be open to it. What were they saying? Your mission, if you choose to accept it, in like the old spy movies or whatever. I loved spy movies as a kid. And I feel like this energy right now is very much like that. It's like, this is your mission if you choose to accept it, to level up and to embrace and encounter and experience the life that you never thought you could have, but that you now can possibly have if you follow your best self, if you ride the waves of energy in the right way. If you conquer your fears, if you conquer your shadows and dare to heal, you can have it all. And I've never done a reading like this for the collective. I really do think that there is something really special about this moment where it is a true catalyst moment. I think it's very provocative. I think a lot of people are going through it right now. And I think the reason a lot of people are going through it right now is because the universe is like, okay, guys, do you get it yet? Will you level up yet? Or will you stay safe in the patterns that you're used to? I'm not saying that we can't break our patterns anytime. We can. Where there's a will, there's a way. But right now, it's going to be less of an uphill battle to do so. And so I would really encourage everyone to work with the energy of this moment and take it very seriously. Because I think this pivot from the snake to the horse, I think, is going to be a massive transformation opportunity for a lot of us. So take that seriously. We've got this beautiful opportunity to live the life that we have always wanted to live. I know it sounds very cheesy, but that's really what I'm getting from these energies. And I think a lot of people sell themselves short, about what's possible for them in life. And I think it's really a bummer because I think we can have anything that we want. I really believe that. And I think it's important to maintain that Delulu vibe until we're able to create a circumstance where that is our reality. And so I'm going to end off with some self-care cards for funsies. I'm going to give you guys self-care homework. And I'm actually going to do it by sign element. How about that? So my air signs, my fire signs, earth signs, water signs, you guys are all going to get different self-care cards. Isn't that fun? Okay. So let's start with our air friends first. And so if anyone doesn't know, air signs are going to be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Okay, these are great. So for my Geminis, Libras, Aquarius, we have elevate and abundance. Really nice. On the back, it says, being a thoughtful steward for the money you already have is a secret to creating more abundance. When you trust yourself to handle more, that's when more shows up. And we also see you get what you believe you deserve. It's time to raise your standards. I love that for our air signs. That's so fun. Okay, so now our fire signs, which is Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo. I'm getting 3 cards for my fire people for some reason. Sorry to my air signs. We get love, priorities, and feelings. So love says, love people, love them with all your heart. Just be sure to love yourself first. Priorities, the quality of your life is determined by how you spend your time. Make sure your schedule reflects the life you want. Feelings. Healing begins with feeling. Be gentle with yourself and tender with your heart. Love that. All right, next up, we've got our water signs, the Pisces, Cancer, Scorpios. You guys also get 3 for some reason. Growth, kindness, and calm. So it says, evolution starts when you leave your comfort zone. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Kindness says, what if being kind to yourself really could change everything? Calm. Breakdown is often followed by a breakthrough. Remain calm. Next up, we got earth signs, Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. And after this, I'm going to do other self-care deck as well, so stick around. All right, let's see. My earth signs. Choice and patience. It is safe to wait and worry less about making the right choice and more about being strong enough to handle any outcome. I like this deck. It's always fun. All right, so now for the self-care homework, you guys. This deck is fun. It tells people what to do, which is part of why I like it. It's always very chill. So for my air signs, again, those are Aquarius, Libra. Oh my God, why am I blanking? I need another coffee, obviously. I got no sleep last night, so Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Okay. Air signs, your homework is clear your energy field and look to the stars. I like that. For my fire signs, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. Take a walk and connect with crystals. For my water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Positive affirmations and sync with the moon. And for my earth signs, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. Hydrate and burning bowl ritual. Write stuff down and burn it to let it go. There we go, friends. That's the energy. Pretty interesting vibes, honestly. I feel like we are at a really cool time in terms of just the vibes as they're moving. I'm excited about it. Let's see, I had a little bit of juice left on my computer. Does anyone have any thoughts, feelings about all of that? Because there are a few guys here live. And so if you do feel called to ask any questions, feel free to do so. Always happy to answer some questions from the folks who are here live. So I appreciate you guys sharing some of your day with me, especially since I'm like late on this one. I'm supposed to do it back on the 1st. But I got to see my mom on the 1st, visiting from America. So alas, I was not here. Any questions about any of that, my friends? Speak now, forever hold your peace. I will go eat a snack. Well, it looks like there's no questions. But I'm really glad y'all were here. There is, of course, going to be another one of these in March when the year turns, when the month turns. And of course, in case you guys didn't know, I am offering one-on-one tarot readings as well as tarot parties and things like that in my home city of Toronto. And for anyone who is not in Toronto, I love doing tarot readings over Zoom, and I also do life coaching over Zoom, believe it or not. That's actually what most of my practice is these days, is life coaching, mostly with men, interestingly, and I find most of my tarot clients are women. So it's kind of a fun mix. So I've really been enjoying it. And so if you enjoy my content, whether it is the monthly tarot readings or whether it is either of my podcasts, the Secrets of a Witch podcast or the Heal and Harm show, which is new, and a new episode of the latter is actually dropping on YouTube today at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. So that is a really, really fun conversation with a tarot deck creator, an oracle deck creator. So if anyone is interested in that, it will be dropping soon, just a few hours. And so if you find any of my content interesting, please like, share, subscribe, share it with a friend, leave a comment, engage with stuff, rewatch it, whatever you need to do. I'm really close to being monetized on YouTube, actually. So if anyone is interested in helping, consuming more of my stuff on YouTube is always a really big help with that. I think I'm only like 30 or 40 hours away from being monetized. So I'm really, really excited for that. And I'm just really grateful for this community that I found on YouTube. Like I haven't really been on YouTube for very long. I've been more of an Instagram person over the past years, but I've really been enjoying exploring YouTube and doing live streams on here and just sharing more content with you guys. And I'm also working on more 101 content on tarot and magic and spirituality and mindset and all of that. And so if anyone does have a request for a video on a question that you think is something that you're wondering about or curious about, even if it's really, really basic or 101, please leave a comment, let me know, make the request. I'm happy to get your suggestions for what kind of videos and content you would like to see, because I really do believe spirituality and magic and tarot is really, really beautiful and is something that can help everyone in their healing journey, wherever you're at in your process. Like I just really believe in all of this stuff and I want to make it more accessible to more people. And so that's that. And so if anyone does want to book a reading with me, you can do so, sabrinamscott.com. Click readings. If you just want to surf over to it yourself, it's sabrinamscott.com/readings. You can book a reading with me. And this week I'm pretty booked, but next week I should have some time. So let me know. And also, of course, coaching around everything from tarot, how to do magic, how to build your own personalized spiritual practice, all the way from stuff like that to mindset, relationships. I've also coached people on, God, like everything, honestly. Like it literally is like life encapsulation, life transformation, all of the things. So if you're interested in that as well, please pop me a hello, sabrinamscott.com. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Have a wonderful February. I'm really excited for the energy this month, and I'll catch you guys later. Much love. Bye.